Brooks Newsmaker Saturday starts now.
Thanks for joining us for Newsmaker Saturday. Of all the issues facing Arizona, water remains near the top or maybe at the top of the list. A really good winter we had, a lot of precipitation, snowpack that was 160% of normal. That gave us a little wiggle room in the 22-year drought this state has endured. Lake Powell reached a peak level in July, rising 64 feet. Lake Mead, the source of 40% of Arizona's water, is now 20 feet higher than where it was at this time last year. Again, a big improvement, but we are not out of the woods. Kathryn Sorensen is Director of Research and a professor at Morrison Institute of Public Policy, served for many years as a director of Phoenix Water and director of Mesa Water before that. Thank you, Kathryn. It's great to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for including me.
So, anytime. So we kind of gave the long and short of it, and while those numbers are good, and we could certainly, and we did get a great winter. I was looking at the numbers. We are still, Lake Mead and Powell are way down from where they were at their peak in 2000.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the case. And although conditions have improved, as you noted, we're not out of the woods. The Bureau of Reclamation announced that we'll be in a Tier 1 shortage condition in 2024. That is an improvement from where we are today, but that still means that we'll have to endure involuntary cuts to our water use on the order of 500,000 acre feet. So
now, when we do those cuts, Kathryn, as we've talked about before on this program, the lion's share of our water use is agriculture. This is not to demonize agriculture, because we need agriculture in Arizona. It's really important. We've kind of got a mini breadbasket down there in Yuma and other spots of the state. But if we look at cuts, do we have to start there, or do we look at residential? How do we do it?
You know, what's likely actually to be cut first is the water that we currently use to recharge our aquifers. We do bring in a fair amount of Colorado River water, and we use it to replenish local groundwater pumping. So we're likely to be forced to give up aquifer recharge before we give up other uses like direct tap water uses and agriculture.
Okay, so just so people understand, when we recharge the aquifer, that's recharging the underground water supply. That is kind of our lifeboat, isn't it? If all hell breaks loose, that if everything really went south, we would have that in case, for instance, a 22-year drought became a 100-year drought, and we have had those in Arizona.
Oh, absolutely. Here in central Arizona, we are blessed to enjoy very large and very productive groundwater aquifers. But if we pump them too much, then that water is not there when we need it during times of surface water shortage or for future generations. So you're right, it will have an impact on our aquifer management, and we've planned for that, but we also need to continue those recharge activities over the long term to protect our aquifers.
We've made this point before in the program that I think the highest water usage in the valley was 1958 or some crazy number. And that's because we were largely using it for ag, right?
Yeah, that's true. So agriculture is a very water intensive undertaking here in our hot deserts. To grow cotton or alfalfa, it takes about 6 acre feet per acre. To grow a subdivision for municipal use, it only takes about 1, maybe 1.2 acre feet per acre. So as we convert from agricultural land use to municipal, there's kind of an inherent water savings that comes along with that. So as we've done that, in the 1950s, we grew a lot of cotton, had a lot of agriculture. As we've converted, actually, we do use less water.
So as we've converted to people and density and in other words, a residential, a home uses far less water on that land than ag would.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So that explains why we're using, in fact, less than we were then, even though our population is 6 times what it was then. It's amazing. People, when they hear that, they go, that can't be right. But it is.
Yeah. It is interesting because a lot of people connect population growth and water use, but really the correlation is with land use. The amount of water that you use will be very much determined by what you're using the land for. If it's agriculture, you're going to use a lot of water here in the hot deserts. If it's a municipal development, you're going to use a lot less.
So since 1958, when we used that was our high mark of water use, which is, again, incredible to believe. Beyond that, we then brought in CAP water in the early 90s. You would think we'd be awash with water here.
Well, we were pumping a lot of groundwater, and we were pumping it unsustainably back in the 60s, 70s, while we were still growing a lot of cotton, very agricultural here. And we brought the Colorado River water into central Arizona so that we could replenish that groundwater pumping. And so, bringing that in was really important for the health of our aquifers. Over time, of course, though, the Colorado River has really become over-allocated. And so looking to the future, one of our key public policy issues that we have to confront is how we continue to protect our aquifers in the face of, less Colorado River water availability in central Arizona. That's a huge challenge for us.
It is a challenge. So as I understand it, Arizona will only receive 18% of the state's annual allotment of Colorado River water this year?
No, I think it's an 18% cut.
Oh, we're getting an 18% cut. Okay.
Yeah, to our Colorado River water supplies.
Thank you for that. So in the overall view, if you were to tell somebody, here's how Arizona seems to be even better with water right now than California, you would think California would have no water issues with snowpack and all of the rivers and all of the stuff. We seem to be in a better position than California. How is that?
I think in part it is because California's system is so climatically variable. Whereas here in Arizona, guess what? It's always hot and dry. It always has been hot and dry. It always will be hot and dry. But you can plan very methodically for scarcity and drought. Whereas planning for highly stochastic events, hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, flooding, it is a lot more challenging. And I think in a strange way, we benefit from the stability of our climate.
And that we had really dynamic people, politicians who got some things done that that really kind of assured the future of this state.
Oh, for sure. The 1980 Groundwater Management Act is still one of the most, if not the most, progressive groundwater management laws that you will find in this country, if not in the world. Arizona was the first to tie the subdivision of land and growth to having an adequate water supply to support that growth. That's necessary for us because since we are a desert city, we need to signal security and certainty in our water availability so that people will invest in our economy. But we've had leaders, our legislature, our senators, others who have really pushed the envelope and made sure that we're able to enjoy a high quality of life now, but also that future generations will be able to as well.
You mentioned signals, and we got some signals from the governor's office talking about, how our water situation is and 100-year sustainability for each project that goes up. Some of the signals that went out across the country were rather alarmist, and some of the Eastern press was like, Arizona can't sustain. It really got twisted.
It did, and it seems to be one of the stories that the East Coast loves to run, right? That Arizona is running out of water, but it's not the case. We have our challenges. Every community has their challenges, but because of this proactive, methodical planning, we're actually in a pretty good place. Arizonans understand the value of water because it is hot and dry here, because water is scarce, and that allows us to plan very proactively for the future.
If there were one thing, if you could wave a magic wand, if you were in charge of all this, what would you want to see accomplished to try to make sure we are water secure?
So, the Colorado River system is likely to be highly variable over the next few years. And honestly, that's a good scenario. It is over allocated, and if it's not going to be highly variable, then it's probably just going to decline. One of the things that mitigates variability is investment in infrastructure. So I think it's really important that cities, private water companies, those who are responsible for making sure there is safe, clean water at the tap are investing in the infrastructure that brings about that security.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible when you think our high water use here was 1958. And then since 1958, we bring on CAP. It seems a little rash to say that we're in a water crisis here.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crisis, but we do have our challenges, and we need to take those very seriously. I think as long as we continue to plan proactively, as long as we continue to take meaningful steps to protect our aquifers, then, not only are we in good shape, but I think that, future generations will enjoy the same high quality of life that we do today. Yeah. We just have to be really careful about it.
That's right. And, I think that crisis word gets tossed around a lot, and we have done some pretty darn good planning. Would you say, final question, are we actually better off water-wise than we were 30 years ago?
I think we are.
That is something.
For example, we have stored millions of acre feet of Colorado River water in our aquifers over the last 30 years. That is, water that will help see us through difficult times on the Colorado River, and that future generations will be able to pull from as well. I do think we have our challenges. We need to continue to confront those proactively, but I'm actually very optimistic about our water future. That
is great to hear. Kathryn Sorensen, Director of Research, Professor at the Morrison Institute. Great to talk to you. And thank you for your time.
Thanks for including me.
Yes, we really appreciate it. Thank you, Kathryn. Coming up next, it seems that with every extreme weather event that happens these days, someone tries to tie it to climate change. And that even goes for the fire that leveled the town of Lahaina on the island of Maui. My next guest will discuss the factors that drove that fire and whether climate change played a role. Coming up next on Newsmaker Saturday. Back on Newsmaker Saturday, the death toll, damage, and horrible losses resulting from the fires in Lahaina on the island of Maui are still being assessed. And it appears that power lines knocked down by winds that topped 80 miles an hour and set off dry grasses on Maui's west side touched this whole thing off. My next guest worked with NOAA. He's connected with Yale and co-founded the Weather Underground. He recently appeared in an article in the Washington Post on the likely contributing factors of the fires in Maui. The title of that article, Maui Fires Not Just Due to Climate Change, but a Compound Disaster. Jeff Masters, meteorologist for Yale Climate Connections, joins me now. Jeff, thank you for your time.
Hey, happy to be here.
Okay, in list of importance, what were the biggest factors, do you believe, that led to this horrific fire that descended on and consumed Lahaina?
From a meteorology standpoint, you had three things. Number one was the wind. Whenever you have winds gusting at 80 miles per hour, you greatly increase your fire danger.
Fire traveled 1 mile every minute, resulting in this tragedy. With those kind of winds and 1,000-degree temperatures, ultimately all the pictures that you will see will be easy to understand.
The smoke was so black and so thick, we were worried about getting killed.
Blackout smoke, couldn't see.
There was no real route to go north or south or towards the mountains. The only escape once the thing swooped in was to get in the water.
The way that it was hitting the houses, it was just like, almost like an apocalypse, catastrophic, something you never want to see.
People are found in houses in a huddle, holding each other because the fire surrounded their homes before they could even get out. There was nowhere to go.
Those strong winds were primarily due to a high pressure system that was unusually strong that had migrated over from the west coast of the U.S., dragging a whole bunch of dry air. In fact, some of that dry air that's been contributing to the heat wave over the western U.S. this summer, that dry air went and contributed to the dry air over Maui that helped these fires grow so much. Contributing to the winds, in addition to that high pressure system, was low pressure to the south. Namely, there was a hurricane there, Hurricane Dora, Category 4 hurricane, and the difference in pressure between that low pressure to the south, high pressure to the north, that drove the very strong winds. Yeah. Now, in addition to the strong winds,
And then you have winds knocking down power lines that are not de-energized.
I hear a pop coming from across the street. You get all this wind blowing, and now you get a fire. That was fuel in just in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about sparking, that's what we have to look at. You know, how do these fires start? And certainly power lines are a big suspect, probably likely. It's too bad they didn't go by California's model where you actually shut off the power to the power lines when you have one of these wind events. I think that has stopped a number of fires in California in recent years because they de-energize those power lines.
Yep. One of the things when I was noodling around researching this interview with you that I did not know that shocked me, there are virtually no wind observations around Lahaina. That's incredible. Weather observations are critical for understanding wind threat to warn the population, and if they don't have that, they have no way to make an assessment. That is shocking.
Yeah, that is something we definitely need to look at. And another thing I found shocking was that one of the reasons they claim they didn't shut off the power is because you need that power to run the water pumps to put out the fires. So
oh my goodness.
That seems like a terrible vulnerability to me, that you can't, you know, run your fire hoses without power. Maybe they need to look at that as well.
Jeff, I've spent a lot of time over there. In fact, as I mentioned to you before we started rolling on this, my daughter's named McKenna, which is in southern Maui on that west coast as well, south of Wailea. I've spent a lot of time there. It is typical during the winter. They get a really wet winter, and they had even a wetter winter than normal on Maui. The grasses grow. A lot of them are not native grasses. And they really were up this year. I was there actually in June, and it was dry. And so during the summer, it becomes extremely dry on that western side of Maui. And it is just fuel ready to burn.
Yeah, I mean, we have the same problem in the western U.S. I mean, we celebrate when we get a wet winter because that reduces your fire danger, right? But also, a wet winter makes the vegetation grow. So all the more fuel for the eventuality when you get drought and it dries out, then you've got a lot more fuel there for the fire.
Now, we're living it right now in Arizona, as you know, because we had an extremely wet winter that we desperately needed. Great snowpack. And that helps in the high fires in the forests because there's a lot of moisture content in the timber. So we haven't had big forest fires, thank goodness. But in the lower lying areas, the high desert, the desert, that becomes a problem.
Yeah, particularly when you don't get a monsoon.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly right. Okay, so when you were interviewed for this article in the Washington Post, I mean, we know there's a lot of hyperbolic reporting on climate change. Some of this is even funded by private groups that are paying for coverage. The Associated Press comes to mind. They get $8 million a year. A lot of people don't know that, from groups who are funding money to Associated Press to cover climate. And I think there's an expectation they're going to probably look at the worst case scenarios. At any rate, when you were approached on this, what was the approach from the reporter? Was it a straight up approach, or were they trying to connect everything on Maui and the fires to climate change?
They wanted the whole picture. They wanted to know the meteorology, what was going on, and what the connection to climate change might be. And I think that's a fair question. I think in every extreme weather event, we do need to ask that question. How may have climate change contributed? Because every extreme weather event that happens now happens in a changed atmosphere, a background that is hotter, and you have more moisture as well if you happen to be, near the ocean where more evaporation is occurring. So I think it's a fair question to look for a climate change connection, but you can't be always expecting to find one, because it's not always, cut and dried that, oh yeah, climate change was definitely a huge impact in this situation.
Or make a connection that isn't there. I'm seeing a lot of that. Everybody wants to connect every extreme weather event to climate change. And the point being, in Maui, and knowing that topography and those winds and power lines going down in dry grass, my sense is that fire would have started with or without climate change.
Yeah, the thing about climate change we have to realize is a lot of times, even if it only bumps things up a few percent, when you're talking about thresholds, that's where you get in trouble. Now, our built infrastructure is designed for a climate that no longer exists. So if you can get maybe just a 10% increase in those winds due to climate change, that may be enough to bump you off, bump you over the threshold where now you're not prepared for that event. And I think in this case, yeah, maybe climate change did increase the winds over Maui, not 10%, maybe 5%. Was that enough to, spark the disaster? I don't know, but it's a compound disaster. You're combining a whole bunch of different influences. I don't think climate change was the main one. Like you've alluded to, the invasive grasses were a biggie. I mean, those things carry fire, right up to these structures. And also the fact that we're building more structures in harm's way, that's a huge vulnerability that we've got to cut down on.
Well, one of the things that's changed in the years that I've been going to Maui is that they have really shifted away from sugarcane production on that side of the island because they didn't like the processing and the smoke coming out of the processing plant when they were turning it to sugar. So they've replaced that. Those fields have gone fallow. They've either developed them with development, talking about housing, tourism, but there's also just a lot of not native grasses growing in those fields, and it's very flammable.
That's right. I understand that Lahaina actually used to be a wetland, and they drained it for some of those plantations. So, and they've paved over a lot of wetlands too in that region. So they did a lot of land use there that has contributed to this vulnerability.
Do you suspect, following this, Jeff, that there will be big changes and reassessments of how to protect a community like Lahaina, for instance, from what just happened, that they will create fire breaks or something to keep fire from sweeping down those mountains, fueled by winds coming down the mountain toward the ocean?
They certainly need to look at their building regulations and build back fire smart. But you have to understand that the building industry is generally opposed to things that increase the cost of building. So you've got that political dynamic to contend with. I'm not sure how it's played out in California after some of the fires have had there, the Camp Fire in Paradise, the previous deadliest fire in U.S. history, modern history. I know there have been struggles where, there have been smart people going in saying, hey, we need to build steel frame houses, not these wooden houses. But the building industry has pushed back and say, that increases the expense too much. So it's going to be a battle. We really need to build fire smart, and some of that's going to happen, but perhaps not to the extent that is needed. Do
you think this is a wake-up call for other communities around the country that may be prone to these kinds of fires?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has certainly gotten a lot of people's attention. I mean, what a horrible way to die in a blaze like this, to have your community completely destroyed. That has a very powerful emotional impact on people. It's the kind of thing that will make a difference.
Just one thing on the data. The IPCC, which is kind of the vanguard for looking into connections between climate change and what's happening around the globe, weather-related and natural disasters. The IPCC, to my knowledge, there is no detection in an increase in fire weather globally. Is that your understanding as well?
I am not familiar with the IPCC says on that. But I do know that the conditions for large fires has increased, and it makes basic sense. In a hotter atmosphere, there's more moisture that you can put into the atmosphere. It holds more moisture, so that now in this hotter atmosphere, plants are going to give more moisture away. They're going to dry out more. It's called the vapor pressure deficit. And there have been a number of scientific studies absolutely saying climate change is increasing wildfire risk because plants are drying out more. That's the number one reason we're seeing increased wildfire in a lot of regions, forested regions in particular.
Jeff Masters, meteorologist for Yale Climate Connections. Jeff, thank you for your time today. We'll be back in a minute on Newsmaker Saturday.